I discussed is around vision as leaders, right? And so
Wow.
it's
Right.
not it's not just the business owner that is tasked with creating the vision for their organization. It's also the leaders within departments that have the responsibility to be forward thinking and to be innovators and to have a vision for their department, their business unit. And so today we're going to talk about how do you create that vision for your department or your business and ensure that it is all aligned. And we're going to do an active exercise similarly to what we did last week with the P&L review. Willy's going to take us through that portion, but I'll start us off with talking about the power of vision in leadership. And so I'll start off by asking, who has worked with a leader that all of a sudden you're like, how did this person know that that was going to happen? Has anybody had that experience where you work with a leader that sees the future and pivots to the future before it actually arrives? If you've had the opportunity to work with leaders like that, I think that's great. It's awesome because that is exactly what we want to talk about today. We want to help you become that type of leader. And so, why vision separates managers from leaders? And it's because those individuals that have the ability to see it, they do through with planning. They do it with precise and accuracy that it is connected to their business goals and their overall purpose. And so that's how we're going to go through today and teach everybody that active tool. But what's the framework and what are some of the things that you need in order to be a visionary? Well, it's not about being a dreamer. So let me make that clear. It's not about having a dream because we can all dream, but the compelling vision also has to tie into action. And that's the difference between those visionaries and the dreamers. The visionaries that get results turn that vision into actionable steps. Now, they do it either through the help of their processes in their organization or through other individuals within the teams that are able to implement the steps. However, the action behind it is what's critical. So think of this vision as your compass. So to make it clear for you, it's your roadmap. So if you just think of vision as a dream, you're not going to go anywhere. But if you think of it as a compass or a map, that gives you direction and that gives you purpose. So that's the first thing about having vision within your team and department is knowing where are you going? Where do you want to go? Right? And so it's critical that you as a leader understand that. You could be a department head today and say, man, I really want my department to be really efficient in labor costs. Well, how are you going to do that? Think about the steps that you're going to need to create in order to get lean in your operating costs. And that's how you start to create that framework for that vision that ultimately leads to results. Now, you want to avoid vague visions, meaning
Mm.
that you don't want to just paint a picture out there that doesn't inspire. It has to be motivator. It has to create what I like to call a burning platform, right? If you think of it, a burning platform, it's burning underneath you. What's it going to make you do? It's going to make you jump in. It's going to make you jump off that platform, right? So your vision, your compass, your plans has to be very detailed to the point that people are going to jump in. So when you do so, you ask yourself, where are we going? Why does it matter? And who benefits? Those are three key questions as you start to think and align about your long-term vision, right? And so what I want to make sure that we think about is the storytelling as well that comes behind that vision. As you ask yourself those questions, think of yourself as a storyteller when you're communicating this to your team and you're inspiring them. There has to be a story. There has to be, again, that connection that will allow that individual to jump off that platform. So repeat the message as often as it's needed. Ensure that as you're delivering your vision and your communication out to your teams, that your body language exemplifies that you are committed, that you're bought in yourself, you can't have a vision and communicate if, maybes, or uncertainty, because then you're not going to get individuals that are going to jump in with you, right?
Mm.
Your tone and your credibility has to be strong. You have to know that it's going to work out. You don't know how. You don't need to know the how yet, but you need to know that it's going to work out. And that's
Mm.
something that I know that I just want to go to Willie very quickly, because one of the things that I always found inspiring in working with Willie was that he had a clear vision of what he wanted his business to be able to do. We weren't sure exactly how we were going to get there, but he always knew he wanted it to work out a certain way. So Willie, maybe it'd be good for you to share with us what are some of those ideas or ways in which you were able to communicate your vision.
Yeah, I think the vision piece was when we first actually created a vision for our business. We did what was it called again? Where we did vision introduction speech to the whole team of actually showing people or showing all our employees what our vision actually was, right?
Yeah, so we had like almost a vision building day, but in essence, what we did was we communicated to the entire group what our 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals were going to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking like when we had that vision building day, one and two even, and then we came up with the introduction there where I was recording actually a video and walking them through what our 1 3 year and even our long-term 10-year goal was. And that's the part that I've actually put a little presentation together that I'm going to start sharing with people what I help businesses do. And I was thinking I should probably share that same presentation and walk you through that today.
Yeah. And and what it does in that concept is that you turn ideas into reality, like we talked about, right? And so it starts to create those milestones, 3 year, 5 year, 1 year, 90 days, however milestones you want to communicate, and it reflects progress towards the ultimate vision that you want your department or business to be able to achieve. And you do so by maintaining that adaptability, and very key, and I know you're going to touch on it today, is protecting your core values and your core vision. Like that is going to be super important as you outline those milestone goals, right? And so I know we're going to talk through that, but you're a visionary, Willie, and visionaries are great, but you come with a lot of pitfalls and blind spots, and you throw curveballs at people. So, as a visionary, what can you tell department leaders and business owners that will help them to ensure they don't you know struggle with setting a vision?
Sure. Well, one weakness is on a visionary, I would say, and that's for myself, is being inconsistent with stuff and always coming up with the next big idea. And so, what I would like to say to people that are visionaries, like me, you need somebody else to kind of look at it from a different angle and get some opinions. If is this actually a good idea for the business? And yeah, for me, it was lots about once we had that trusted leadership team in place where we I could bounce off my ideas and see what would actually fit for the business.
See, and I think it's great that you mentioned that, because what it does, it removes an ego-driven vision. It's now
Mm,
collaborative. And so as you think of yourselves in your roles, again, whether you're a department head or you are leading a business on your own, run it by your team. Say, hey, I've got this great idea. I foresee this happening, working out this way. What do you think? This way you get engagement, you get some feedback, and it doesn't come off as you have all the answers and you're now pushing down a specific vision that may or may not work. So I think that that ego piece is really critical as it pertains to leadership in the tasks that you have as leaders to grow your businesses or departments. Um, what's interesting that you said too was in your delivering of your messaging and asking for feedback and collaboration is that it helps ensure that you don't overpromise,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
It's key that you keep it within realistic, actionable steps and milestones. You're not overpromising. You're not saying, "Yeah, we're gonna be $1 billion company, and everybody here is gonna get like VP roles." Like you're not overpromising what's not real. You're saying, "Okay, in the next 90 days, we want to grow 5%." That's
Mhm.
that's a vision. We want to grow 5%. How are we going to grow 5%, folks? Let's build it out together. What are we going to do? Our tool that you're going to share with us today is going to help this group create that vision to get alignment to create that burning platform. But the over not over promising piece is so important as you're talking through a vision, because you want to make sure that it's grounded with realism. Like I want to make sure that that point sticks, right?
Mhm.
Grounded with realism. You want to make sure it's real for the time frame in which you are tackling, right? You could have a big, hairy, audacious goal or BHAG, as you'll hear it named out there, but you have to make sure that the timelines and the chunks in which you're working to achieving that BHAG are real, that you can actually achieve it. So your vision has to have a roadmap, it has to have collaboration, it has to have realism to it, and it has to engage and create that burning platform, right?
Yep.
So those are sort of the points that I wanted to make today, to ensure that we as leaders, are able to really create that legacy for ourselves and for our teams. Remember that we are tasked with doing that. We're leaders for a reason, and that means that we have to be able to provide that guidance and the optimum objectives to our teams. So, Willie, let's look at your tool and what you've been working on this week. I know you're excited to take us through a live vision building concept here for us.
Okay, very good. Call it the OBS framework. That is the same framework that we worked off of at Willie's Trucking Service. And so today we're going to talk just about the first pillar here, the clarity of vision. And so there are 8 questions that is part of building this whole vision out. And that's, I think, where I would say is where I found so much power in where we did it together with our team, and it asked the right questions to really lay out that vision, and everybody could kind of get behind and understand what that actually meant. And so I'm going to walk you through each question here today, and then also give you an example what the answers to those questions could look like in your business. So, number one, who are we at our core? So, this is what do we stand for as a business, and what beliefs and behavior defined us no matter the circumstances. And so, here we create 3 to 5 core values. And I'm sharing here one example, one of the core values that we had at Willie's Trucking. And I just want to share what that looked like. So this we called the positive energy core value, and then it said in more detail what it really means to us. So at Woolies, we had fun and smiles, community minded, inspiring our team. Willie's Trucking Service will be more than a place where people come to put in time until the day is done. We want to enjoy the day and the people we work with. But we don't want to stop there. We want to be the most positive people our customers interact with. When people think of Woolies in our team, they will know us as the people they most like to interact with. So this was a core value that we kept ourselves accountable at the leadership level, but at all levels in our business. If we had some kind of issue around somebody not performing at the level that we wanted around this core value, we would sit down and have the conversation. But on the flip side, we would use these core values when we hire people. We would go through our core values and help people understand what we really keep ourselves accountable for at our business. And Hector, you want to share maybe an example, the reason for our core values and what that did to us?
Yeah, as it relates to a vision standpoint, the core value component and connection to this vision piece is critical because it ensures that anybody coming into the organization or any decision that you're making about the organization or department is tied back to who you are, who you say you are at a core, right? You're not going to have a core value, as an example, that says that you're ethical, and then you're going to go and cut corners to make an extra little profit margin. So
Mm.
so you want to make sure that your core values are aligned to, again, to who you are, and therefore ties to your vision. So if you want to grow with your partners, let's say that one of your core values is we grow together with your service uh, partners. Well, then you want to make sure that you're doing it ethically and that you're growing together the right way. That you're not going in to go out there and maybe steal their people down the road because you really like them, or you're not going to burn bridges down the road, right? That's an example of core value alignment with your vision and ensuring that it all ties together for you.
Very good. So we'll go to number two. Why do we exist? And so the question here is beyond money, why does this business matter? And
Mhm.
what change do we want to see in our industry, our community, or in our lives of our customers? And so here we create a purpose and niche statement. And and Hector, maybe you can share how to come up with this statement.
Yeah, what's important about a niche and a purpose is understanding a niche is what separates you, and a purpose is what is it that you do better than anybody else? What motivates you? What drives you, right? And so think of this both ways, as an entrepreneur for your business or as a leader for your department. What do you do differently? What do you do better? What is it that you provide to the business world that separates you from the rest? And it's not necessarily what you are doing today, but what you aspire to be able to do, right? So today you might be thinking, I want to be able to um provide X service at within 24 hours, or I want to ensure that we have zero recalls on the work that we do, or customer service issues. That's great. That's what you're inspired to do. That's what's your niche. That's what's going to make you different. At Willie's Trucking, I know that we had uh, perfect delivery. We were going to make sure that there was no claims, that we took care of the on-time deliveries. Like, all those were who Willie's Trucking was, and we built that team around developing and executing that way. So you as leaders need to be thinking about, why do you exist? Right?
Mm.
You're not just there for the purpose of making a buck, as Willie said. Of course, that's the end result of what happens because you're in business. But what makes you different? James, you're an overhead door provider. Well, you're what makes you different than the others in the industry. And so being able to put that together in your vision, in your niche statement, and your purpose statement is critical for your team, so that they know what makes them different when they put on your brand, your shirt, when they represent your team, as an example.
Very good put. Awesome. Yeah, and then number three, where are we headed? And so this is what is the bold, measurable future we're aiming for? If we win, what does that look like 10 years down the road? So, coming up, thinking outside of today and really looking forward, where do you want to be in 10 years from now? And again, here's just another example. Uh, I just put together what roughly a Willie's Trucking 10-year destination look like. And so by 2035, Willie's Trucking will operate 20 fully staffed, high performance branches across Western Canada, each strategically located to provide consistent on-time freight service to every major regional market. We will be recognized as the most reliable, service-driven carrier in the region with a reputation for caring for our people, our customers, and our communities. So here to point out, at first when we came up with our 10-year destination was where we would have just a revenue goal. But
Mhm.
then I remember we came back to the table and said, okay, we need to make this more meaningful for all our employees to understand where we're really heading. And so we put together where we said we want to have 20 branches fully staffed. And so yeah, with that, Hector, you want to jump in and add to this?
Yeah, and what I want to do with this one is tie it to your department. This is important, right? As you're looking to build this out, you have your business goal, you have your 10-year destination goal, you've outlined your profitability, your branch sites. Now think department level. What does that need to look like? How
Mm.
many how many managers? I mean, is it a regional manager? Is it one regional manager? Is it two? Right? How many supervisors? How many leads? How much equipment are you going to need to have? What type of equipment are you need to have? All of these are part of building out your vision
Mm.
because they will ensure that you communicate clarity. And again, the milestones will become real because you're able to communicate this is what we're going to be able to do. And I'm picking on you, James, today because it's the one that's a bit more relatable for me. But I'm going to say, like, from a service standpoint, you could say in 10 years, I have 5 trucks today. In 10 years, I'm going to have 25 trucks and we're going to have this type of equipment per truck and this many crews per truck, and this is how much revenue each truck is going to generate. You make it so attainable, you could see it, right? You can almost taste it. And so that's the point of communicating the 10-year destination and where we're going. So Willie's talked about broader, the big company objectives and how we could communicate that. I'd like to challenge you guys and folks to also think about departmental and how does it become real and actionable for your teams and your people.
Mm. Yeah, and this next, there's a couple questions down. We'll actually break that further down as well yet.
Mhm.
And with number four is questioning the who do we serve best and what makes us different, and who is our ideal customer or client, and what problems do we solve for them, and how do we make their lives better. And so this is to create your growth strategy and really figure out what your marketing plan will be around, around, yeah, the right ideal customer that you're trying to attract to your business.
Mhm.
And Hector, maybe explain how this works, what you have been helping businesses with.
Yeah, one of the critical components when it comes to your identifying your ideal candidate or ideal, customer is going to be knowing what is it that you bring to the table. Are you are you just better priced? Are you better service? Are you safer? Are you more efficient? What is it that you provide that makes a difference in your
Mm,
business? And that therefore you'll know who to market, right? I always used to say at Willie's Trucking, we're not trying to be the McDonald's coffee. We're trying to be premium. So we're trying to be like Starbucks. Therefore, our customers are going to value service, execution over price. And that was the value that we communicated to our people. We always said we have to deliver on time because people are paying for that service. They're not paying for next day freight. Anybody can do that. We're talking about next day by 5 a.m.
Mm.
damage free, right? And so like that, when you communicate it like that to the individuals that are out in the field doing the work, now they know why they're out there. They're not just there to drop off the box next day. It's more than that. So the teams that you lead, communicate that to them, empower them to understand, and challenge them to execute that. Is it's you as the leader will have to be able to communicate what is it that makes your organization different, your department different, and therefore why they're able to maintain and keep their customer base, and at the same time attract customers through a marketing technique that looks for those specific customers that are willing to uh, partner with you because it aligns with them.
Mhm. Very good. Question number 5. What will 3-year snapshot look like? So this
Mhm.
is where now we're starting to break this down from the 10-year destination that we were looking at. And so what does the next 3 years look from now? And so just to break that up and say, where do we want to be in 3 years from now? And start putting a list together of things that will need to take place, like Hector's explained earlier a little bit, to break it down by department. How many more trucks do we need? How many more locations are we opening up in the next 3 years? And just get a clear snapshot what that will look like 3 years down the road. And I'll get you to jump in as well again, Hector.
Yeah, and when you think about 3 years, now this I would like you to think of like throwing pasta to like a wall and whatever sticks, right? Like today, if you're doing your orders by phone and pen and paper, in 3 years, what type of software are you gonna need to have? What type of CRM? How many employees head count, right? So think broader, think bigger in the 3 year snapshot. Maybe there's a competitor out there that you want to emulate and you'd be like, we want to be like them and understand what's made them be successful. You might want to, take some of their learnings and say, this is what the stuff that we want to be able to do at that point. Better than them, of course, because you're different and you have your own niche, but at the same time, learning and avoiding some of their pitfalls. So again, yeah, wider in this time with this question, but also specific in the points that you can communicate. We're going to have, like this tool says, $48 million in annual revenue. We're going to have X% margin, but we're going to be 12 fully operational branches. So, again, from the James example earlier, we're going to be 25 trucks. We're going to service 3, 4 cities. We're going to have a CRM tool that's going to, enable us to have database on all our customers and automate marketing techniques, like all of that documented, communicated, and of course, exemplified throughout the entire organization so everybody can understand it and can be bought in.
Hmm. So, question number 6. What do we need to win this year? So now we're bringing it down to a 1-year game plan, and we're doing similar to what we're doing in the 3 year, but now where I teach about where we're coming up with maybe 3 to 5 bigger goals that we really want to accomplish this year. And
Mhm.
so we want to make sure what we're putting on here, we can actually do this. And so it just brings clarity what we're focused on in the next 12 months. And Hector.
Yeah, this is the fun part for me. I love this part of it because
Mm.
it's when you actually get your hands dirty and you start building things and creating things, right? But it all starts with that vision and understanding of what you want to achieve. So, just know that when you create that one year goal, it has to be real, it has to be actionable, and you have to push through to be able to accomplish it and hold yourself accountable through it. So, as leaders, I want you to always be forward thinking in that. What does my department need to look like next year? And what are the goals we want to achieve? And now go get it done. And so, yeah, this is the fun part for me. Like the 3 5 years all comes with work, but I like love in living and working in the 1 year and the quarterly cycles.
Mm. And that's brings us to the next point is the quarterly one. So what must we focus on right now? And so this is where we create the next 90-day goals. And so here again, also encourage not to come up with too many things. Less is more is what always was taught to me. And
Yeah.
so let's really define what is important that we accomplish in the next 90 days, get very clear on it, and then let's execute that 90-day plan. And then once that 90-day plan is, and we're up those 90 days, we sit down and meet again, and now we create the next 90-day plan. And also we look at back how what have we accomplished in the last 90 days. And that's how you stay on track to really get closer to that 10-year destination. And you just keep doing that over and over. And that's how the steps go to able to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to recognize why the quarterly cycles are so key for winning this and winning the year and winning the 3 and 5 year goals, because you have to be focused in what's in front of you during that period of time. You can't be worried about, oh, next year's in that cycle. You might be in a winter cycle. That means you have to plan about winter activity, or you might be in summer activity, and you might be, dealing with holidays and vacation seasons and all that. So you have to be in the now when you focus on these 90-day cycles. And when you're building out the next 90 days, you have to have clear understanding of the challenges that are going to come in those next 90 days and focused on those priorities. Like you said, Willie, less is more, because you want to really be focused on the critical actions that are going to move your organization or department forward. Not the big ones. Like those big goals are going to come, but you get there by biting down at little chunks at a time.
And that leads us to the last question. What are the obstacles and opportunities? So here, just to spend some time around creating a list of what are the potential issues that will come up or obstacles that we will have to overcome to get to where we want to go, and just look at what are the current opportunities that we could really look at to advance in our business, or yeah, is it buying out that competitor or whatever. So just start building that list of potential things that we could work through. And I remember back in the Willie's days, our list got pretty long, what we needed to look at. And but you create that list, and then you keep coming back to that list when you're doing your quarterly meetings or planning sessions, and look at, okay, what is on the list that we could actually put into the next 90-day plan. And yeah, I'll turn it back to you, Hector.
Yeah, again, and what I want to make sure that I paint the picture on what these obstacles and opportunities could look like for you today. That could mean that you have the wrong people in your organization, and you identify we're going to have some turnover. So it's planned turnover. You might identify that you have the wrong processes. That means you have to go rewrite your processes, action them, and put them in place. You might find that you might need more capital. So you need to go get capital to invest in your business to grow it that quarter. You might find
Mm.
that you have a boss in a department lead position. You might have a boss that's an obstacle that's preventing you from doing or taking on the right decisions. And how do you overcome that? Right? Like those are all realities that you as leaders and us as as leaders, we have to be mindful of and put on these lists. Don't just pick the easy ones. Don't just be like, oh yeah, it's this competitor, it's driver shortage or staffing shortages. That's easy. Get more granular, get real, and get specific to your department and business. That's what I wanted to make sure we pointed out on the issues or obstacles and opportunities piece.
Very good. And this next slide, it brings it to this where visually I see it where if you don't have a clear vision in your business, you might be looking like those arrows that are all scattered and those are, let's say, employees pulling in different directions in your business. And what I always say with the vision is this is where I want to take you from the chaotic culture to the clarity and have clarity on your vision and unify the team and having all those arrows pull in one direction. So that's where I believe there's so much power in doing this vision exercise. And I think this vision exercise does for business owners and entrepreneurs, we're so tied up in the day-to-day operation. And if you do this exercise, it really takes you out of that mindset and really positions your business to really grow and figure out where you really want to take the business and and that's what I call if you do that where you can finally break through the ceiling. um, I know I've heard guys teach this where there's always a ceiling in business and you have to find a way to break through that ceiling. And this vision exercise is what really will break through that ceiling for any business, I believe.
Yeah, I agree, Willie, because it gives you the consistency in reviewing performance, challenging for next steps for growth, so that you never really just, hit a cap. You're always executing and growing, planning and growing ahead, and it just continues to evolve that way. But I also want to tie it back again to to not just you as the entrepreneur, the leaders in your organizations, the department heads, those individuals that are tasked as well with doing some of this. And it's important when you start to see those arrows, everybody rowing in the right direction, right? Don't feel like it has to be you. You might have subject matter experts in your organization that could help align the process that will get people rowing in that same direction. So
Mm.
yeah, so don't feel like you have to have all the answers. Like there's people there in your teams and externally that can help you get alignment and create the process to roll forward and in one direction and win. So I wanted to point that out. The other second piece that I think is important is to simplify this exercise because it could get a little complicated sometimes if we start to think from a business perspective. The way that
Yeah.
I've done this for me is I do it for personally. Just try
Mm.
it. Do it for you. If you do it as a personal task and you say, where do I want to be next year? What are some of the things that are holding me back? Where do I want to be in 3 years, in 5 years? And if you can apply those to you and to your personal growth, you can apply it to a business, to a department, and so on. And so that's sort of a cheat code that I'd like to just leave you with. If you do that and you document it, now you have the roadmap to take it to your organizations.
Very good. And that ends for the presentation here. Um, I found this quote, if your vision lives only in your head, it will die with your energy. if your vision lives on paper in your team's hearts, it will live on even when you're not in the room. And I kind of like that to finish this off. And the other thing I was going to share here a little bit is I actually built a form that I'm going to upload in the community where you can print it off and fill out that personal vision or even for your business vision. So with that, I'm going to share just my screen one more time here with the form.
There it is.
There it is. So here is just exactly the same questions we all went over and a little box to fill each box in. So feel free to go to the community and in the OBS tools section. That's where I'm going to upload this form. Anyone can print off. And
Amazing.
I'll
That should be the task for next week, for the teams that the individuals that show up next week to share what they created.
very good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll turn it back to you, Hector.
Excellent. Yeah, great tool and concept of application, Willie. I think it's important that the group hears it from a visionary, someone that helped shape the way for a large organization, and a successful one at that. And so I really appreciate that you took us through this one today. And so we'll open it up now for questions, Alan. If you can help us, lead the room here.
I'll do that. But before I do that, I want to just say hats off to you guys again, give you some applause. What a great lesson. Just so tangible, so practical. I know that when it comes to running a business, and we've talked about this thing about vision, more often than not, the people I've run into, vision is kind of that plaque on the wall, and we don't know how to get that vision off the wall and marry it into the hearts and minds of our staff at all the different divisional levels. So just great practical tools. I've got some questions because, I always take notes, a whole page of notes and some questions, but I'm going to hold off on my questions. And so, yeah, Peter, James, Andrew, Cecilia, this is the time for you. I'm going to imagine you've got some questions. Maybe you've got some challenges in how do I get this rolled out into my team or into my organization. Ask your questions. Hector and Willie will just jump in and help you work through those. Everything on my screen is kind of froze, so I can't tell if anybody's putting their hand up. I would just say unmute and jump in. And if I don't hear anything in a few seconds, I'll jump in. But I want you guys to go first. You guys are the ones that need to get your questions answered. So Peter, anything from you? James, Andrew, Cecilia.
I'm actually currently working with James a little bit one-on-one. And James, I was thinking it's already a year ago we kind of put a vision together for your business, and I think it's time we do a review on that.
While you guys were talking, I was actually on my 90 tool and going through what we put in there and what that looked like. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, can we put James? Is it fair, James? Can we just put you on the spot for a moment, and you can tell me no if it's not fair to you. But I'd love then if you've already started working through this process for a year with Willie, and you're looking at those 90-day chunks. How's it going for you? And maybe I don't know the right questions to ask you, but what's been your experience in that? And would you honestly say that you're further down the road than you would have without it? And maybe what are some of the bigger successes in this last year because of it? Maybe what are some of your challenges that you're still working through?
Yeah, I would say probably one of the biggest challenges is myself, fear. It's fair to put a whole bunch of stuff on paper, right? And build it out. A lot of the stuff we like our annual gross revenue, for example, we hit that. There was some other numbers, some other things we hit. But then some of the ones that I didn't hit were, in my opinion, my own fault. Yeah, it takes putting one foot in front of the other to, set up another location or set up another two locations or hire guys that you have no idea who they are or what they're all about. But the vision piece, I would say for sure, definitely put a lot of, it has a lot of strength if you actually put it into practice for sure.
I remember you saying the other day, you probably would still not have that inventory system in place if we had done this, right? So that's,
And sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly what you were saying. There's so many things that the first time me and you sat down, and the first, whatever that was, 8, 9 months, we worked hard on basically restructuring the whole company from inventory to the vision to core values, where what we wanted it to look like in 90 days, 1 year. I was just looking, we had 17 trucks for 2035. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, so I wasn't that far off in my.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's literally something that I'll have to get off the paper, like Alan was saying, off the wall, and actually, we'll make it happen. And it takes a lot of capital, and it takes a lot of brains and people to actually make it work.
Absolutely. But one thing I'll leave you with, James, on that, because I know you get it. I've heard you, I've seen you, come on here, and I've heard Willie talk about you. But if you're worried about the cost of going for it, remember what that price of staying put is, right? Like, just remember that.
So
So it's a good internal challenge to help you get motivated and going for it. And you'll figure it out. You're a smart guy. You've got the right people. You're working with Willie, and you're here with us. So with community support is here, and
Yep.
we're surely going to help you through it.
yeah, even I lately I've been reminded of, to go out further, further than the area we're serving right now. If I don't go after it, somebody else will,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly
just how
it.
business works.
That's right. That's exactly it, right? And and it's not just, not just from the entrepreneur side, but again, I always want to make sure it connects to other levels in the organizations. But think of, you department leaders, right? If you're scared of going for that promotion, or you're scared to make that move, or you're scared to make that hire, well, or that fire for that instance, what's the impact going to be to your department if you don't act, if you're afraid to act? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing that I've encouraged James to, like, I think he has some good people working for him. And I said, you have to start entrusting them. They can take care of your current business right now while you can go and build somewhere else. And you just communicate that and say, you guys, are you up for this? And that you can oversee what we got going here and take care of our customers. And I'm planning to do some other stuff where we're going to grow the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
James, I got to pat you on the back. Your comment, you said, well, maybe some of the biggest challenges has been myself. You kind of get in your own way. I love that you own up to that. Everything rises and falls on our own leadership first, right? We got to take personal responsibility for that. So that's good awareness. And I don't know about you, but the hardest person to lead in the room is always me. So good, good recognition. I'm just looking at Peter here in the room. Peter, you look so intent. You're like leaning right in there. It looks like you're just really absorbing the material for today. Any questions from you, Peter? We're kind of in some dying minutes, but any questions from you, or maybe some comments about your experience through this process?
I would be kind of in the same boat as James. I'm always the problem in the room because I have that same fear, right? So if I hold myself back, I can't do my full potential. So I'm in the same thing, and yeah, I'm just sitting back here and absorbing because I love what you guys teach, and I put it into practice. And then, to tell you the truth, I had a fantastic month last month. So I mean,
Oh, wow.
thank you.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Peter, I'm glad to hear you say that. One of the metrics that we're going to start to capture as we evolve and we grow our business is the positive and or impact that we've made for other entrepreneurs and business leaders. And Willie and I, we've been discussing this behind the scenes, and eventually we're going to have a KPI or scorecard that we're going to communicate to the team. We're going to say, look, we've been proud to help grow X promotions or X business, businesses grow through the next little bit or timeline, so that we know that we're adding value. So we appreciate that, Peter, that you're sharing that with us today.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't help but think, coming off of your comments there, Peter, and there's some similarities between James's comment and yours, Peter. I can't help but think, Hector, where in the world would be a good place for us to go to hold each other accountable and stay motivated, since there's a common theme through all of us, me too, is that there's this fear that we have and we got to get past it. I think, wouldn't the community be a good place to
That's a soft lob one there for me, Alan. I appreciate it. Yep, absolutely. Yep. If you're not engaging in the community, if you're not putting yourself out there in the community, you're missing out.
Yeah.
The whole point of this is for us to help each other grow, help each other advance in your career and or your business growth aspirations. And so absolutely put it on the community. We're here for you.
Yep.
Yeah, and as
I
they
love it.
say, sometimes it's lonely at the top, and that's where we believe we're here for each other.
And then the extension of that is, if you're if you find it's lonely at the top, it's your own damn fault because you didn't take anybody with you.
That's right. That's exactly it. You're right about that.
Sorry for cussing. Well, I see we're down to the last dying minutes, but normally, there's this phrase, ladies first, but maybe for today, maybe it's ladies get the last say, get the last word. Cecilia, you've been with us. I see you and I are both sitting in our cars. Can we give you the last words today? Have you got something you want to ask or chime in?
Sure, sorry. I couldn't unmute myself. No, I agree with everything. I think for me it was what in the presentation, that picture Willie put there where the arrows are all in the same way. It's a game changer once you have everyone knowing what the vision is, because otherwise everyone has their own motivators, right? Like it could be money, it could be relationships, it could be anything. But once you have a clear vision, it that makes the group to come together. Otherwise, everybody's motivators are gonna always come in the way, right? So it has to be clear for everyone, and you can tell when a company has the president has a clear vision and is able to share that with the group. It just starts flowing like smoothly. It's just it's really, you can tell the difference right away. So I think that's very important.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for chiming in. We appreciate that word. I got to say, I think this lesson is one of those lessons that all of us, and I'll put my hand up first, needs to go into the community and listen to this, the recording of this call, and take the course that's there and go through the slides that Willie has made. Brilliant stuff. And there's just so many layers. There's so much meat to this. And I realize, what you've taken us through today, Hector and Willie, allows us to ask so many questions that most entrepreneurs don't even know to ask. And so it's just been a gold mine for us today. I'm going to take up the challenge. So Hector, why don't you give us that challenge one more time, and then tell us where we're going to find it in the community, and let's come back next week and discuss that process of taking up the challenge today.
Yeah, you know what? Well, if you could go through the slide sheet that the worksheet that Willie will be posting into the community, complete it, create that vision for either yourself or your business, and next week we will talk through your experience in creating that. We'll start off the meeting with going through that. But to add to this challenge, Alan, this is more for you since we didn't give you your time to ask us questions, because I know you have some there in your notebook. Why don't you start us off with asking those questions in the community this week, and then Willie and I will help answer them for you, so that we can teach others how easy it is to post a question into the community, and let's see if we can build that engagement and responses through it.
You got my word. I'll do it.
Awesome.
Very good.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you in the community. I see we're about a minute past the hour, so if nobody's got anything else, maybe this is adios for the week, but I will see you in the community.
Awesome.
I,
Appreciate it. Thanks,
I
Alan.
was
Take care.
I was going to add one thing. If you want to get a daily reminder, we now have on our website. You can sign up, put your email in, and you're going to get a daily or 5 days a week. You will get an email with a quote on there reminding you something about a leadership topic.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'll leave it there.
Worked on it. Really, that's awesome.
You guys just keep building us more and more value, putting out more and more value. God bless you guys.
Very
right,
good.
thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
See y'all.
Yep.
Cheers.
Yep. Bye.